This is Chapter 6, Stage 3, Creating a Complex Mask. We're going to start by opening the artist JPEG from in our folder. So go File, Open, and open the image. Once it's open, take a look at your Properties panel and you will see that this is a much larger image than what we need for the other file, but it's okay. We will be able to make everything work. With the contextual menu, what we want to do is we're going to select the artist's arm so that we can import that in. But we're going to select subject out of here and take a look at how that's working for us. It's kind of messy. It's giving us items that we really don't want. It sort of works, but it's not great. So we're going to select deselect. For a better method, we're going to go to the Tools panel and look for your Object Selection tool. Now if you don't see it right away, it's going to be nested with the Quick Select and Magic Wand. In the options bar, you want to first of all make sure that we have the Object Finder selected, and then move your mouse over the various objects in the image. It's going to pick up different things. Obviously, it's picking up the arm. We want to make sure that we have our Show All Objects activated for this so that we can pick everything that we want up, and then click on the painter's arm. You're going to get it selected with marching ants around it. It didn't pick up the artist's brush, and we want that selected, but we don't want that background thing. So what we're going to do next is choose the Add to Selection button, which is this one, and we're going to click within the highlighted areas for each end of the paintbrush. So I'm going to grab this one first, and then we want to pick up the back end of it. In the options bar, turn off the Show All Objects option, and in the Layers panel, click the Add Layer Mask button. When you add a new layer mask, the active selection is automatically used to determine what parts of the image are visible. And remember, a locked background layer cannot include a transparent panel. So as soon as you add the layer mask to that blocked background layer, it is automatically unlocked and converted to a regular layer named Layer 0. In the Layers panel then, we're going to double click the name Layer 0 and rename it to Painter. Go to File and do a Save As. And save this as Artist Masked, and remember to include your initials. A layered mask defines what areas of the layer are visible, partially visible, or hidden. All black pixels on the mask hide the underlying areas. All white pixels on the mask reveal those areas. Shades of gray represent areas of the layer that are partially visible or semi-transparent. Each pixel in an alpha channel represents the degree of opacity for that pixel. When you create a layer mask, you are essentially creating an alpha channel. We're going to fine-tune the mask and determine exactly what's going to be visible. So we're going to be using the brush tool to manually edit the existing layer mask. Zoom in, first of all, to the hand. And make sure your channels is available. And you can see the different colors plus the mask. Click the empty space to turn the layer mask on. And make sure in the Layers panel that the mask is selected, not the image behind, but the mask. Then pick up your brush tool. In the options bar, open the Brush Preset Picker. change the brush size to 50 pixels, change the hardness to 100, and then press enter to close that pop-up. In your options bar, make sure the opacity and the flow are both set to 100%. At the bottom of the Tools panel, click the button to reset the default foreground and background colors. And then you're going to click and drag over the black area around the painter's fingertip. Painting with black, remember, adds to the layer mask, and white reveals. And you can see that there's a little spot there that you need to take out of from his finger. Also right here under the fingernail needs to go. If you go too much, the X key will automatically swap the fill and stroke colors and you can paint back in. With your brush, paint to fill in the lines that are left around the paintbrush and between the paintbrush and the artist's fingers. And we have this odd little thing back here where part of the hand seems to be missing because it's a shadow. In the Channels panel, then, you can click the eye icon to hide the mask. And yes, you can still work on this without having that mask on there. And then we're going to refine the mask and the mask workspace. Go back into your Layers panel and make sure once again that you are working on the layer mask and not on the image itself. Choose the Select and Mask option in the Properties panel. In the View mode, choose the onion skin. And set the transparency to 25%. With the onion skin option, the masked areas appear partially transparent, and that lets you see a little bit better what you need to add or remove from the mask. Then choose the brush tool from the left side of your screen. In the options bar, make sure the Add to Selection option is active. And set the brush size again to 50 pixels because you're using a different brush. So it's going to be 50 pixels and make sure it's at 100% for hardness. On the canvas then you can click and drag to add any remaining hidden areas of the painter's hand to the selection. And it looks pretty well like everything's coming up. I don't really see any issues on mine. In the global refinements, I'm going to have to open that up. Change the smooth field to 10 and the feather field to 1 pixel. Change the shift edge field to -50%, which will automatically fill in. And in the view mode, change the transparency slider now to 100%. Make sure the layer mask is selected in the Output To menu and click OK to finalize the revised mask. That puts you back in your main menu and you can save your file. hold your control key down and right click on the painter layer name. Might have to do it twice. And choose duplicate layer from the contextual menu. Open up the destination drop-down and select the CAC Summer file and say OK. In your summer file, if it needs to be moved to the top, make sure you drag that painter layer up to the very top. Now remember, we said this image was massive compared to this. You're going to press your Control and T key to go into the free transform mode, and now we should be able to go to our options bar and scale the active layer to 10%. And I have no idea where it is. We're going to have to zoom out to find this, because remember, it goes from the center. There it is. It's way up here at the top of the artboard. We can click somewhere within that and bring that and drag that down so that it's on our artboard. And then you can zoom back in, or you can double click your hand tool, or you can go edit or go to view fit in window. Click. Okay, so we've done that. Finalize this layer by hitting enter, and then we're going to select the starburst layer, and we're going to use the direct select tool to drag a point until it seems like it's coming out of the paintbrush. Now if you're not happy with your placement on your arm, you can move that arm around. All we needed to do is come in from that bottom left corner. So if you don't like exactly where it is, you can drag it out a little bit and get it placed a little bit better. We just want that coming in from there, and then we can go in and move. Oops. Remember, you're going to have to be fussy with it. Click off. Oh, and I went to the move tool instead, so I need to go back to my direct selection tool and pick up my starburst layer again, so I can grab that point and bring that over a little better to the paintbrush. And then you can save your file again.